So, lot many of you have been messaging if we could say something about the virus and how you can keep yourself safe during these times. So, I thought that it would be good if I could record something about what steps you can take and which can also help you to tide over this crisis time. So first of all, so there are two aspects to this. First is on how we can protect ourselves from the virus, and the second aspect is which is actually affecting more people than the virus itself, is about the fear of getting the virus, or panic and everything associated with it. So that's something which is affecting more people than the virus itself. So we'll just look at both these aspects and how it's possible to handle these two things. So first of all, about handling the virus. So there are many things which you can definitely do, and sure most of us are already doing this, because from the past few days all of you might have come across so many forwards and videos, and if you are hooked onto the social media, you would definitely know what to do to protect yourself against the virus. So there are terms like social distancing which have become the norm, where people are talking about this, on how to distance yourself from people, avoid crowds, avoid gatherings. So this is something you might have already heard of, and hope that you are also implementing this. So this is definitely a loss in terms of it could be a loss in many ways actually, and for some of us they may not be affected much, because for example, if you are working in an IT company, you may be able to work from home, and at least your finances may not be affected. But there are many others who are severely hit because of this, because of the ongoing virus scare. Their livelihood and their source of income has been severely hit, and this is something at least we should be aware of, that for many of us the virus has hit in more severe ways, and if we can do something to help them out in whatever ways to support, if we can do that, it would be great, because these are times when we can all come together and see how we can support each other. So if you see daily wage workers and so many other people also who are being affected by this, and not only this, even business owners, especially for people who are in the travel industry, events and related, they are absolutely come to a standstill because of the ongoing virus scare, and they are not even able to do anything. So this is something which we don't know how long it will last, because going by the current situation, it's very much possible that it could the lockdown could continue for a couple of weeks as well. So let's hope for the best. For us as well, we have been impacted very much, because we had planned a lot of camps in this summer and had to put all of them on hold because of the current situation. So summer is usually the peak time when we have a lot of programs planned, and all of them have come to a standstill because of the current situation. But this is just one situation which has come, and though it could be limiting you in many ways. Maybe your work is limited, and many other factors get limited, but this is also an opportunity for us to look at this as an opportunity to grow, and if we just look at it in that way, and definitely financially it could be affecting us in many ways, but at the cost of one's life, there's nothing more important than that. So whatever is needed to protect that and to take care of that, that's something which we should do. So this is an opportunity for us to kind of see how whatever aspects which we have not considered deeply before, or whatever aspects which were not so important earlier, or which we might have disregarded earlier, this is the time where we can consider that and we can explore that in much more depth. So one thing which we can definitely do is, for example, in terms of keeping yourself engaged, since most of us are at home all the time, and for some of you, you may be working from home, so you are fully engaged. For many of us, it could be, being at home and trying to figure out what to do, because this might be something very new for a lot of us, that we are just at home and we don't know what else to do. There are no cinemas, there are no malls, many restaurants are closed. If you're living in an apartment complex, for many of them, the clubhouses, the swimming pools, the gyms, everything are in shutdown mode. So you're kind of forced being locked down at home and not having these options which you regularly use as entertainment. So this could be very challenging, because being at home and just being with your devices all the time, this itself is putting a lot of people into worry, and many of them are not having an outlet which they earlier had to distract themselves or to engage themselves. So one thing which I'm sure all of you would be you would be hearing this from many sources, is this is also a time for you to look within. And if you haven't already started doing something for your own well-being, this is a good time for you to start practicing some yoga or meditation at home. This could have many advantages. First of all, in terms of preparing your body and mind so that you're much better equipped to handle whatever eventuality and whatever situations come. And second, also this could help you easing the anxiety and fear and whatever else is coming along with it. This is something which can be an antidote towards that, where if you're just connected within yourself, you will see that this is also one more situation which we can pass over. So if you haven't already started doing some yoga or meditation at home, this is a good time for you to explore that. You may not be able to learn if you haven't learned before, especially with a lot of offline classes being closed and many workshops being cancelled. So but this is a good time for you to, if you've already learned, it's a good time for you to start practicing this on a daily basis. If you were earlier complaining of time, now you may have much more time on your hands to do this. And if you haven't learned, then there are many tools available online where you can equip yourself. You can learn some simple yoga or meditation at home. For example, at Isha, there is this app called as Sadhguru. If you download this, it's on your mobile phone. You will find a lot of meditations and yogic practices which are freely available on the app. You can make use of them. There is something called as Isha Kriya which can be practiced, and there is something called as Chit Shakti meditations which can be done anytime. There's also Upa Yoga or Am chanting. So there are many tools which are available on the app. You can make use of them, and it's a good time for you to start exploring these tools and at least spend an hour or two daily doing these yogic practices and meditation. It will make a big difference. And second thing is also about food. So I know there's a lot of stuff going about already on the internet about what foods can boost your immunity, and how you should be having these things to boost your immunity. Well, this is something you should not only look at for a couple of weeks, because when you're talking about building immunity or preparing your body in such a way that you become much more stronger and able to handle outside infections, this is something which is an ongoing process, and it's not just something which you should do for a matter of few weeks, because this is something which is more long term, and you should be doing this anyways. So if you haven't been doing that anyway, if you start doing the yogic practices, it will definitely help you. You'll see that if you bring in at least some form of yoga in your life, even otherwise, irrespective of this situation, you will see that generally your health and well-being can be much more enhanced. Your visits to the doctor or catching colds or infections, all these things can definitely come down if you started doing some yogic practice on a regular basis. And also about the foods which you're consuming, that makes a big difference. And though all these things you can do, it's not something which you can guarantee that if you do this right now, if you haven't been doing this already, and if you just start doing this right now, you may be able to ward off the virus or not. So irrespective of that, because this is something which can hit anyone, and but what you can definitely do is you can prepare yourself, and it's never too late to get started. And you should do this preparation keeping in mind that this shouldn't be just a one-off effort for a few weeks until the scare goes away. It's something which you should try to make this a part of your life. So if you look at it in that way, then this will definitely help if you eat the right kinds of foods, and if you switch to a healthy diet and also bring in some form of yogic practice in your life. This is something which will keep you in good stead, not only during this current time, but also equip you for handling any other situation which you go through. So in terms of food, I'm sure again you must have come across many things like especially about turmeric and Neem, and many other things are doing the rounds nowadays, where a lot of people who were not at all interested or giving any consideration to Indian home remedies, they've started looking at this frantically, and people are googling about turmeric and its benefits, about honey and foods which boost immunity. So this is something which has been already looked at in great depth in the yogic science, about how to eat in a way so that your body is much better prepared. And this is something not new, and the benefits of neem and turmeric, if you have been on this path, you might already been consuming this on a daily basis. If you are not, it's good to bring this back. If you can have neem and turmeric on a daily basis, first thing in the morning, you can just make a small marble-sized ball of neem and turmeric and have it along with lukewarm water on a daily basis, first thing in the morning on empty stomach. It is said to have many medicinal benefits, and neem along with turmeric can help kill cancerous cells, and turmeric has anti-inflammatory properties, and it can definitely take care of your health in a big way. So if you haven't been doing this already, it's good if you can start taking neem and turmeric on a daily basis. So we have all these initiatives listed in detail, like how you can do these things at home, and more details about these things like having neem and turmeric, and many other initiatives which you can take in terms of food. We have a website called as agni.yogire.com, So in this website, if you log into this website agni.yogire.com, you will see that there are many Agni videos listed. So this is a series we started a few weeks back to see how yoga can become a part of one's life. So there are many initiatives which are listed on this website which you can try to implement at home, where if you just try to implement these things on a daily basis, you will see that slowly you will start taking steps towards your inner well-being. So one among this is to have Neem and turmeric on a daily basis, and there are many others listed on the website as well. So please do check them out. It will be very helpful for you to start implementing them. And in terms of food, again you will see many other things listed on the website, like having at least 50% raw food, and chewing your food thoroughly at least 24 times, and spacing out your meals, having just 2 meals a day. If you are over 30 years of age, just having 2 meals a day would be very beneficial. This itself helps in keeping the cancerous cells in check, and brings a certain sense of health and well-being to your whole system. So all these initiatives you can look into our website and you can start implementing them. And we also have a in-depth program on food where you can explore about yogic diet in detail. So if you log on to the website ahar.yogire.com, so if you go to our website, you will see this online program on food. So this is a program where you can which you can do it online from whichever place you are. You can do it at your own convenience. And in this program we look at a yogic diet in depth. So you will find videos listed, you will find some articles, you will find recipes and tips for you to kind of how you can start implementing a yogic diet in your life. So this is something, if you're really looking to do something in depth and implement this as part of your life, this is a good time for you to kind of explore this and start implementing changes in your diet, because food is something which is as important as sadhana. If you're doing sadhana or yogic practices, and if you're not taking care of your food, you're kind of trying to lift yourself up one way, but something else is pulling you down. So it's very important to take care of your food as well. And if you just take care of your food, of eating the right foods and eating consciously and joyously, you will see that this will this will help in your well-being in a very different way. So this is a good time for you to explore this if you haven't already, because this is not something which you should just be doing for a few weeks. This is something which should become a part of your life. And if you can start taking this step right now, this would be something which will take care of not only the current situation to help you tide over this, but also prepare your body and system in a much better way. So please explore that if you haven't already. Also, something which I have noticed being observed at the ashram, at the Isha center, this is something which I wanted to share. For example, one thing I have noticed is that they usually serve this kashayam, or a liquid which is a herbal liquid which is taken before meals. So this is something which you can also make at home, and this is called as we can provide the links in the video in the description below. So you will find something called as Nilavembu Kashayam, and this is also available on Isha Shopping. So this is basically a herbal mixture of a couple of things like Nilavembu and few other ingredients like ginger, dry ginger and many other things. So it's a herbal preparation, and if you can make this at home and have it before your meals. So just before you have your meals, you can maybe just have a quarter glass of this. This will help in preventing viral infections and many other similar things. So this is something which will be very effective in terms of building your immunity and warding off infections. So this is something which you can take on a daily basis, and not just during this current time, but even going forward you can continue this. This will be very helpful. So Nilavembu Kashayam is something which you can take, and already spoken about Neem and turmeric. First thing in the morning you can do that, you can take that. And third thing is also, after you finish your meals, you can have a paste, a mixture of a mixture of turmeric, pepper and honey. So basically this is also something which is very helpful. As you know that turmeric has something which is called as curcumin, and this is something which is known to prevent is supposed to have anti-inflammatory properties, and it's very beneficial especially in warding off infections and building immunity. So this is something, if it's taken in equal measure, if turmeric powder is taken in equal measure along with pepper powder, it's supposedly it enhances the absorption of curcumin if you add the pepper. So you just take pepper powder and turmeric powder in equal measure. You can mix it and add a little bit of honey so that it becomes like a paste, and then you can take maybe 1 teaspoon after your meals. So after you finish your meals you can take this. This is something which I see being served at the Isha Yoga Center. So I thought I'll share this with you as well, so that we can start implementing this at home. So these are the simple things which you can do in terms of your food, and also in terms of bringing in certain yogic practices in your life that can definitely help you during this time, and not only during this time but also prepare you for prepare your system. So please do get started with this. And in terms of the fear and the panic, which is the anxiety which most people are going through, this is a much bigger problem which people are facing now, because this is something which most of us have never gone through before, and it's kind of very unexpected, and it has hit us in a way that no one expected this to come at this particular time, and for many of us this is something which is we are unprepared for. So what can be done to take care of this? So this personally, what I can share from my own experiences is that apart from social distancing, which is what most people are, which is what is suggested to ward off the virus, what you can also do is to kind of keep off mobile devices and the internet, and basically to maintain some virtual distance as well, because it's not necessary for us to be on the phone all the time and just forwarding and consuming all the information which is available, which is coming nowadays. So for most of us, we tend to get hooked onto the devices or to the TV or whatever else, and just trying to consume whatever information. Okay, how many deaths and how many cases and this and that, and this is kind of making people more anxious than ever. So this is also a good time for you to take a break from these devices if you can, if your work allows that. Maybe if you're working from home it may not allow that, but if it is possible, it would be good if you can maintain some distance from that as well. Maybe you can limit it. Maybe you can just limit checking your phone or browsing just twice a day, maybe morning and evening, so that the rest of the time you can be free to do something else which is more meaningful. Because if you just notice this, if you just observe your life carefully, you will see that for most of us, one of the main reasons why we feel that we don't have time, and we feel that we are constantly bombarded with lots of information, and we find it very difficult to keep our eyes closed or stay away, is the main reason is the mobile phone, because most of the time we are on the phone all the time, and we feel that we don't have time. But if you just keep a little distance from this as well, if you just see how to be a little more conscious while using our mobiles and other devices, you will see that it will be much more easier for you to meditate or to do yoga or to even just take up some hobby which you were postponing from a long time. You may find that this is an opportune time for you to start doing that, something which you never did earlier. This is the time for you to do that. But if you spend most of your time just consuming all the news and social media, then you will see that you will be much more busier than ever. So this is something which is completely in your hands, but if you can be a little more conscious of that, at least from my experience I have noticed this, and what I have planned is that I'm just wanted to finish off a couple of things in the next few days, and after that, since anyway I don't have any offline programs, I felt that this is a good time to take a break. Maybe take a break from all social media and other stuff, and just spend more time doing my practices and just being just spending more time focusing on myself and doing my sadhana and doing other things which I felt that I didn't have time for before. So I feel that this is a good time for me as well to take a couple of days off, or maybe a week or more, and just focus on my interiority and do this, because I wouldn't have had the time to do this if things were normal. So please see if you can be conscious of this, and to whatever extent you can, this is one way I feel we can do that. And second thing is which if you look deeply you will see is that this fear or panic or anxiety, all these things, if you look at the fundamental cause, the root cause of this, it's basically because of the fear of death, isn't it? So for most of us, since we don't know about death, and this is one of the biggest fears which we have in our life, the fear of death. So this plays in so many forms, and the moment a calamity like this hits us, and this is something which can throw us off gear. So it's always good that we come to terms with reality, because as much as life is a part of us, death is also. And for those of you who have been following Sadhguru, you must have at least in the last few months since Mahashivratri, you must have heard him speaking a lot about death and why it's important for us to understand that this is as much a part of our life, and we cannot just be ignorant about that. So this is also a good time for us to take stock of our life and to explore death as well. Explore in the sense not get into, not die. It's just to understand that this is also very much real, and it can happen to us at any time. And our lives are so fragile. This is also an opportunity for us to look and understand that our lives are so fragile, and it can end any time. And this is the hard truth. This is a reality, and it need not be a hard truth if we just understand that this is also something which all of us need to go through. And one thing which I'm planning to do is I've got the book Death. So this is something which I'm planning to go through in the next few days during my break. This will be a good time. If you haven't read this also, I would suggest, Sadhguru has been recommending it highly. This is one book which he's saying is there for everyone who dies. They need to read this book. So he usually doesn't recommend any book, but he's been recommending this book, that we all go through this. So I'm planning, I bought this book a couple of weeks back, but I didn't have time to go through. So maybe next few days it will be good to kind of spend time and go through this, because this is something which is as much a part of our life, and it's good to know about this as well. So stay safe and see whatever you can do to keep the virus at bay, and most importantly use this opportunity to build yourself in such a way that not only this situation but whatever else comes at you, we just use this as an opportunity for growth. And then you will see that every opportunity is an opportunity, every situation is an opportunity for growth, and this cannot pull us down as well. So thank you all for listening, and hope we can see better times soon. Namaskaram.